We know in this job, you're not going to make everybody happy, but you have to stay locked in, focus on those projects that are going to transform our community. It used to be, why Waterloo? And I wanted the mindset to be, why not Waterloo? I don't go to work, I get to go to work, and I appreciate every moment.
Welcome to Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. I'm your host, Dave Martin. With me, as always, is my co-host and the president of the Iowa League of Cities, Dubuque's own Mayor Brad Cavanagh. Welcome. Today, we have as our guest, Quentin Hart, the mayor of Waterloo, Iowa. Quentin, welcome to Leading Iowa.
Thank you for having me.
And I just discovered that you are not just any mayor, you are, some would say, the best mayor in all of the state of Iowa. So, Mr. Cavanagh, explain to me how he won this award.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you. I think Quentin's a fantastic mayor. I know he's shown me quite a few different things and taught me quite a bit since I've been in this for a short time. So not surprised that somebody would call him the best mayor in Iowa.
And what's the actual award he won?
It was the Iowa Mayor's Association Mayor of the Year Award, but I need to take that step back. I am grateful for the award, but I think the word is iron sharpens iron. It's one of my favorite proverbs, and therefore a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend. So I get the opportunity to work around tremendous mayors every day. I can pick up the phone and call Brad in Dubuque. I can call over to Council Bluffs. I can call a number of different mayors throughout the state to try to help us deal with some common issues. And Brad is very humble too. Brad has been at the job for a very short time. Brad is making his way, not just on the state level with the League of Cities, but he's also doing incredible things on a national level to help represent Dubuque and our entire nation as well. So I'm just honored to be in great company.
Well, there you go.
That's kind of you to say, Quentin. Thank you.
It's true.
I'm gonna ask the first question. You know, over the last several months, I've learned a lot about Iowa, and one of the things I've learned is you have really led a transformation of your city of Waterloo. Let's get into it. How'd you do it?
Once again, just great partnerships and having the faith of the people here. We know in this job, you're not going to make everybody happy. But you have to stay locked in, focus on those projects that are going to transform our community. We've had decades-old situations and challenges, from a treatment plant that needed to be fixed to dilapidated bridges to convention centers and a downtown that wasn't growing at the pace that it should, but just everyday quality of life issues that people should not have to worry about. Those are things that we needed to do. And so took a focus on those issues and just tried to do the best that I can to create an equitable form of government where we're able to address the needs of the different neighbors and people that we have within our community. And so just been very fortunate. You know, philanthropy has come along, business community has come along. I have a council that I can work with right now. And so, you know, all those things make the difference.
Quentin, I want to go back to the beginning, because, you know, you talk about it now in a time when you've been doing this for 9 years and you can look back and see a lot of the things that are going on, or that have gone on. How did you start? You know, when you first walked in the door, how did you set the stage to say, all right, we've got this list of things we need to start working on? Like, take us back to that moment when you first began, and I'm curious to hear that.
Well, actually, I was on city council for 2 terms, and I was six of those years out the 8. I was mayor pro tem. So I had an opportunity to sit in department head meetings, very connected in the community, Mayor, from, you know, the most high socioeconomic areas to some of the areas where there's challenges, like the area where I grew up at. So the mindset was that we can start to transition this place and that there's enough resources and enough creativity to do it. And so on day one, the mayor, he actually called me about 3 weeks prior to when I was supposed to start and said, come on in, it's yours. And so I packed up my things. I worked at Hawkeye Community College for a number of years. And I walked in to try to develop the mindset, because it used to be, why Waterloo? And I wanted the mindset to be, why not Waterloo? We are a great place, incredible resources, incredible opportunity. We are one of the most diverse states in the entire state of Iowa. We have an incredible, rich history of manufacturing and factory and accomplishment. And so I sat down that first week and I had every department head sit down, tell them the vision. This is what I expect. I wanted to hear about what their expectations were also, because when you have empowered people, then they empower those that they work around, and started in with a very fast agenda. We wanted youth opportunities. So I met with philanthropy to try to create summer jobs, because I remember sitting on council, hearing about the unemployment rates for our youth. I remember hearing presentation about asthma rates and children. So I partnered with the Conference of Mayors for a $100,000 grant for youth obesity. And so I just started trying to figure out how to deal with those everyday things that were wrong, that we just never really addressed. I wanted to change what people thought about our community. There was such negativity swirling around the state, and very little people knew us around the country. And so I really wanted to try to engage in those conversations, be active, and try to set a standard for living in our community. I remember one time we were addressing a situation, and the mayor at the time was like, why are you even thinking about this? And I'm like, we have to set standards, right? If you don't set a standard for yourself, then you allow any and everything to happen to your community. And so I just got in there and wanted to reinstill hope, show progress. And that's day one. I was meeting with department heads. But I still, to this day, Mayor, I have never gotten a handbook on being a mayor.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no handbook?
Did the mayor pass that on to you?
Yeah, and nobody's told me about that one. No.
There's not a secret thick file that you get, like when you walk in, sitting on the top of the desk? Don't forget.
No mayor's book of secrets over here. No, nothing like that.
And I wanted to ask about that, because I thought that was very interesting. You said that 3 weeks, the 3 weeks before you were actually supposed to take office, the outgoing mayor invited you in and said, here's the keys to the cabinet, go ahead. Or rather, here's the keys to the office, go ahead. Is that common? Does that happen to incoming mayors by outgoing mayors?
Mayor Clark and I, we had a great working relationship. He was mayor for 6 years. He served on council before. I was there 2 years before him, and 6. And so I remember he told me, hey, my stuff is going to be out of here this weekend, so you can start moving in. I had a quick party at the college after 18 years, and I took off like Speedy Gonzalez, and I couldn't wait to get here, and came right in and just worked. So I don't know if it's common, but we had a really good relationship, and he knew I was anxious to get started.
Were you able to have an inboard like that, Brad?
I had a really good relationship with our previous mayor,
I would assume that if you become mayor, usually you at least know the guy you're taking.
Not if you beat him.
Not if you're running against him.
Yeah, you may not be friendly, but you know each other. You've been around. Right. You're mayor of the city. You probably were a city council person before you ran.
Yeah.
But what was your inboard like?
Well, Brad? it was first of all, it was really similar in that I had a lot of mentorship from the previous mayor and from the council that was there. We had a council that I've been working with already for a couple of years as a council member. But there's a big difference here, though, too, is that, Mayor Hart and I are in two different situations. So you are what we refer to as a strong mayor system of government. So you have a city manager, but you're the CEO and the mayor of the city. This is a full-time gig for you, and you are elected to be the person that runs the show. Whereas I'm elected to be the head of the board, the head of the city council, but we have a city manager that does most of the day-to-day work. And it is a different situation. So you're actually a pretty unique mayor in Iowa, because there aren't that many strong mayor forms here in this state, are there?
No, I think there's three total, two strong mayors without a city administrator, I believe. And then Danny Laudick at Cedar Falls, he has a city administrator. So yeah, we dive right in, but and to where Mayor was going with that, you also have incredible people that are working within the city, like your city clerk, your HR director, your finance director. You know, those folks really, mayors come and go, city council members come and go, but the rock of the cities and the foundation are the city staff that are working here, and how experienced they are and how knowledgeable of what they do, that makes all the difference in help getting us onboarded in a timely manner. But I inherited, God, oh my God, I inherited some interesting things at the time.
But those folks that you just mentioned, because the show is called Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa City, those folks that you just mentioned, the head of HR, the city clerk, the other folks like that, those are the people who provide good government, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's just get into a couple of specifics. I mean, I understand one of the big projects you had was you lit up a bridge. Tell me why that's important.
The 4th Street Bridge in the city of Waterloo has always kind of been looked at as a dividing place. You go to this side of the bridge, they say the have-nots. You go to this side of the bridge, they say the haves. And so, but it also has a rich history. It is almost the birthplace of our community. It was an area of trade. If you walk around the bridge, even prior to the lights, you see information and kiosks talking about the significance of the bridge. And so what an incredible tribute to be able to take that bridge looked at as a dividing line to create lights and a lighting experience that's second to none. We're able to celebrate events and opportunities. And at every hour on the hour, it goes red, white, and blue to support our veterans, because this project was part of our Veterans Way project. As you know, Waterloo has an incredible, rich veteran history with the Fighting Sullivan brothers and our Veterans Memorial, and that history. And one of only several cities that's designated as a World War II city as well. And so this bridge has just been the culminating piece to tying our community together on so many levels. And it's pretty cool at night too.
Let's just explain. The Sullivan brothers were four brothers?
They were brothers.
Four brothers, right?
They ended up dying in the Navy ship. And so when you see the rules around just the Sullivan brothers, it is that you can't have brothers or sisters on the same ship or same command, because you lost, 5 brothers at one time.
It was 5 brothers. And
Yeah.
they're Waterloo, Iowa, and well, that's a nice tribute. What else is going on? What are the things that you're proudest of that you've been able to pull off that, according to the folks I've talked to, have changed Waterloo?
Well, Mayor Cavanagh will tell you that he never knew how sexy a treatment plant was until you get it.
Wait a minute. Well, is he putting words into your mouth, or do you now find water treatment plants sexy?
True. Yeah, I always it's funny you use that word too, because I will use that word every once in a while. I'm like, we need to talk about some of the stuff that's not as sexy. We need to talk about sewers now. But it's the most important stuff that you have in your infrastructure for sure.
And when I started, there were backups throughout our community, surcharges. We had just gotten a consent decree. And so about $60-70 million later, we've been able to see some of the benefit of all the work and investment, because that's part of your overall economic investment platform. If you have where someone can take on heavy waste, heavy capacity, that's incredible. And so we have gone leaps and years of where we need to be in that. And we're hoping to get off that consent decree 20 years earlier than what was originally scheduled. Number 2, fiber across our entire community. The city of Waterloo would be the largest fiber we'll have the largest fiber municipality within the state from our municipal telecom that we just formed. So all of that is happening right now. So no matter where you go in this community, you have access to quality, affordable, high-speed fiber right to your homes. And so because fiber should be a right, not a privilege. And that's what we're incorporating. So it's about $100 million project that we've been able to do as well. We have a couple bridges. We have some repair and a revigoration of our mall area, which, some of them are dying and struggling through many communities. And we're working in a hard court facility. And so we have a ton of different quality of life, bridge infrastructure. Three bridges are being built simultaneously within the city, and 2 of them downtown. So a lot of incredible things taking place in and around our downtown core and the city.
So Brad, you are on the outside looking in. I'd like you to talk to Mayor Hart a little bit about some of the things that you're a little jealous of. What are some of the projects that, like you look at, like, how did you do that? Let's talk about like some of the ways that you were impressed.
Yeah. Well, first of all, just to say about the being impressed part, when I was growing up here in Dubuque, we are in the same high school, sports district as the Waterloo schools, and you travel.
Is there a rivalry here? Is there?
There's always rivalry,
okay,
of course, yeah. But there was a reputation. It was an unfortunate one with Waterloo, and Mayor Hart is right about this. And I think from outside looking in, people didn't have very nice things to say about Waterloo. And one of the things that has been fun for me in this role is getting to know not just Quentin, but his staff and then the city itself. We had one of our Iowa League of Cities conferences in Waterloo a couple of years ago, and Quentin took us all over, did a bunch of tours, showed us a lot of different things that were going on, all these projects he's talking about. And it was really impressive. And one of the things you notice is, you were talking about the public projects, the infrastructure projects, the things that a government needs to do, like sewers and streets and bridges and things like that. But how that connects with the private investment that people make. A lot of times private investment's not going to jump in and do things first. Sometimes you see that, but a lot of times it's not that. You need to have some way of working together where you're building a foundation that private investment can actually move up from. And that's one of the things I saw in the downtown Waterloo is you saw housing coming in, you saw new hotels going up, you saw lots of different things happening. And then it leads to the things that you could call kind of the fun stuff, but they're still really important. So things like the hard court surface you're talking about, like some sort of sports facility that can draw people in and give people something to do. Lighting up a bridge, which I think a lot of people complain about sometimes because they think it might be a waste of money to have something visual like that. But I think it's really important that communities have signature projects that tie them together, and that they can all look at and say, that's ours. We're proud of that.
And it was 100% funded outside of taxpayer dollars, too.
Oh, no kidding. That's fantastic.
How were you able to get outsiders to pay for a huge city project like lighting a bridge?
Well, the incredible part was the buy-in, right? As I mentioned, it was part of our Veterans Way project. And people saw the significance of the bridge as well. We were able to partner with philanthropy. We were also able to partner with our business community as well. And we even had labor come in and do some projects for us as well. And so great public-private partnership with no tax dollars included.
That's got to be huge. I mean, both of you mayors, to get a project like this, a signature project like this, and not have the city pay for it, isn't that the goal every time?
Real quick, I'm sorry, but it was former Secretary of DOT Pete Buttigieg that told me about a lighting project they had within their city. And so where Mayor Cavanagh will tell you there may be one idea in Dubuque or Waterloo, we can call each other, talk about the project, and figure out how we can do it. So we steal ideas from one another, not to the disadvantage of the other city.
Let's say share. Let's say share ideas.
Yeah,
right.
we outright say we steal. Yeah. We talk
okay.
about
all right. Well, sorry, you're the mayor.
Idea. I'm taking that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're listening out there, other mayors, feel free to call Mayor Quentin Hart. He will tell you how to steal a great idea from some other city. Is that correct?
Absolutely, we can use it, but not to take anything from someone, but to enhance and highlight what we're all doing.
Yeah. Well, we're going to ask you a few questions that we're going to get to the heart of your thinking about being the mayor. So tell me, what makes Waterloo a real Iowa city?
We are an incredible ag-based community. Over 110 years plus, John Deere built the Waterloo Boy right here in our downtown Waterloo, and it's still one of our largest employers. We have ConAgra. We have the largest Tyson pork plant in the United States. And so we are still a very ag-based community, but we are an incredible manufacturing community with an incredible workforce from all parts of the world that are here, that are participating in our economics. And so when you think of Iowa, you don't necessarily think of diverse place, but we are a diverse place with a lot of different people here with a lot of different dreams. And so we are Iowa.
Well, that's a great answer. And, this is called the Good Government Show. So I always like to ask, what does good government look like in Waterloo? You've described a little bit about that. But when you think of good government, what are some examples of that in Waterloo?
I think of good governance is our ability to be responsible to the needs of our community, to understand that just one neighborhood may have different issues, and we need to focus on the individual needs of the neighborhoods and the neighbors. It's our ability to be responsive and to think strategically on a daily basis and to provide an incredible level of customer service. When I think of governance, oftentimes people think the mayor is up here and people are down here. In actuality, it's reversed. The people are here because there are priorities, and we are here down here to make sure that we can help meet all those individual needs and services that people rely on us every day to perform. And also empowering the people we work with. You can't forget about your incredible staff and your team. And so that is the way that I approach my job every day. I don't go to work. I get to go to work, and I appreciate every moment.
So we've talked about your sexy sanitation plant. We've talked about your bridge that you're lighting up. But, when you look back, 9 years as mayor so far, what are you proudest of that you've been able to pull off?
9 years, 10 days, and 9 hours and 29 minutes.
Not that I'm counting it down.
But I don't have a one thing. I look at our 2030 vision plan and the incredible efforts taking place. I look at the fact that we have not forgotten about neighborhoods that need some revitalization. We've been able to go back and partner with people for that. And so I just want to make sure that no matter what child there is within this community, they see some type of life and opportunity and the beginnings of some transformation in all of our neighborhoods throughout the city. I don't have a one.
Yeah, you have a many. All right, well, I want to close with one final question that I love asking. What is your favorite place in Waterloo?
Ooh, my favorite place in Waterloo? My mom and dad's house. My dad passed away about almost 2 years ago, and my mom is there. The memories that I have there, and actually seeing the growth that's starting to happen in and around my old neighborhood, and being there is my favorite place. Outside of that, I would probably have to say the bridge. The bridge has meant so much to a lot of people, and you see in my background. You see a picture of the bridge there. You see another picture of the bridge there. And so it ties people together. And the lights it's just an incredible, incredible place. In my church, so we can't forget about the Lord.
Okay. Yeah, did your dad and does your mom every once in a while go, now, Quentin, what were you thinking, young man?
All the time.
So as responsive as you try to be to the voters, you have to be more responsive to mom.
Right, absolutely, all the time.
All the time. Well, the Iowa Mayors Association inaugural Mayor of the Year, Mayor Quentin Hart of Waterloo, Iowa. It was a pleasure having you on. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And as you heard, all mayors who are listening, please call Quentin Hart and he'll tell you how to steal the best ideas he's got.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And as always, my co-host, Mayor Brad Cavanagh of Dubuque, Iowa, and the president of the Iowa League of Cities. Thanks for joining us here on another episode of Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. That's our show. Thanks for listening. Join us again right here for the next episode of Leading Iowa, Good Government in Iowa Cities. Make sure you like us and share us with your friends. Follow us on Facebook. Leading Iowa is a Valley Park production in association with the Iowa League of Cities. The show is executive produced by Katie Wheeler and Brad Cavanagh for the Iowa League of Cities. Jim Ludlow, Dave Martin, that's me, and David Snyder are executive producers for Valley Park Productions. Our show is edited and produced by Jason Stershic.